The grave that held nothing. The red wind moved slowly over the quiet land. 2 moons floated in the sky, watching everything in silence. The planet was dry, cold, and empty, a place where no human should be standing. But she stood there anyway. Dr. Ilara Voss. Her black boots pressed into the dusty ground. Her long coat blew in the wind. In front of her, a flat stone rested in the sand. No name was written on it. Only a single mark, the old Earthfleet symbol. This was a grave, but there was no body inside it, just an empty hole, and a memory. 5 years, she whispered, kneeling beside it. Her fingers touched the edge of the stone. I said I would come back. And I did. Ilara closed her eyes. Her voice shook a little, but she stayed calm. She had cried too many times before. Now there were no more tears left. The man buried here, or supposed to be, was Commander Jace Riven. He had been her partner, her protector, and maybe something more. They had worked together on Project Helix, a secret mission during the last war. Aliens called the Zephyrins had attacked Earth, and humanity was losing. Jace had made the final move. He stayed behind to trigger the wormhole device that sent the enemy fleet into a black hole. Everyone thought he died with it. No one ever found his body. Just his helmet and his burnt dog tag, but Ilara didn't believe in ghosts. She believed in science, in facts. And something about Jace's death never made sense. Too clean. Too easy. You promised me, she said to the grave. If you were alive, you'd find a way back. Behind her, her drone companion, a small AI unit named Vox, hovered silently. Dr. Voss, Vox said, its voice smooth and calm. Do you want to record a message? Not yet, she replied. Scan the area first. See if there's anything unusual. The drone's sensors glowed green. It floated higher, scanning the land with a soft hum. Ilara looked at the sky. The stars here were strange, twisted slightly, like time itself was bent. 5 years. On Earth, 5 years had passed. But this planet was near a distortion field. Maybe time worked differently here. She stood up. There's nothing here, she said quietly. Just a dead man's stone. But then, Vox beeped. Sharply. Dr. Voss, it said, more urgent now. I'm picking up a signal. Human life signs, 47 meters east. Ilara froze. Repeat that. Human. 47 meters. DNA match. 94%. Partial confirmation. Jace Riven. That's impossible, she said, her heart racing. She turned around, and then a voice spoke behind her. Soft. Familiar. You kept your promise. She spun. A figure stood in the shadows near the rocks. Tall, wearing a torn Earthfleet uniform. Dust-covered, face hidden under a cracked helmet, her voice broke. Jace? The figure stepped forward slowly. His movement was weak, almost unsure, like someone learning to walk again. The cracked helmet reflected moonlight. Then, he pulled it off. His face was older, tired, eyes sunken. But it was him. Jace Riven. Ilara, he said softly. You came back. She couldn't breathe. Her chest felt heavy, her mind spinning. How are you alive? She asked, stepping back, confused and afraid. We saw the explosion. Your ship. It didn't kill me, he said, voice rough. It took me. What do you mean, who took you? Jace looked toward the grave. This planet, it's not dead. It speaks. It remembers. And it changed me. Vox hovered closer, scanning him. Warning, the AI said. Commander Riven's body shows non-human energy levels. Unknown source. Ilara's hands shook. She reached for her scanner but stopped. She looked at his eyes. Something behind them was different, deeper, older. Are you really Jace? She asked. He didn't answer at first. Then, he reached into his uniform and pulled out a burned dog tag. Her dog tag, the one she gave him before the mission. He dropped it into her hand. "I never forgot," he said. "Not the mission. Not you." The wind howled around them. The grave stood silent as if watching. Alara stepped closer. "You said this planet changed you," she said. "How?" He looked up at the moons. "Because time isn't the same here. I saw things coming for Earth, and they're worse than the Zephyrins." Her heart dropped. "What do you mean?" Jace looked back at her, serious. "They're waking up, Alara," he said. "And we don't have much time. Not all dead stay dead." The moons had shifted in the sky, casting longer shadows across the barren planet. The silence returned, but it was no longer peaceful. It was heavy. Watching. Alara couldn't stop staring. He was real. Jace Riven stood, in front of her, alive. Changed, yes, but undeniably him. His face carried the same quiet strength, the same deep-set eyes. But there was something else now, something colder. Something he was hiding. She tightened her grip on the dog tag he had handed her, the one she thought burned with him 5 years ago. Her mind screamed that this was a trap, a lie, some alien trick. But her heart? It whispered something terrifying. He never died. Behind her, Vox floated silently, scanning every inch of the man once known as Commander Riven. "Non-human energy detected," the drone repeated quietly. "Abnormal neural patterns. Trace quantum disruption." Quantum disruption? That wasn't possible. Not in a living body, unless he had passed through time. Or worse, something had rewritten him. Alara stepped back cautiously. "Talk to me. What happened, Jace? Where did you go?" Jace didn't answer right away. He looked past her to the grave she had carved for him. His expression was strange, almost like pity. "I never went anywhere," he said. "I was always here." Her brow furrowed. "That doesn't make sense. We searched this planet. Multiple sweeps. We found nothing." Jace knelt and picked up a small stone, then let it slip through his fingers like sand. "You didn't search deep enough." A low vibration shook the ground beneath them. Alara looked down. Dust was trembling under her boots. Then she heard it, faint whispers, like voices trapped under the ground. "Did you hear that?" she asked. Jace nodded. "They're awake." "Who's awake?" He stood up, his voice lower now, serious. "The architects. The ones who built this place long before the Zephyrins even discovered it. The planet is not just ancient. It's alive." Vox suddenly flared red. "Subsurface movement detected. Biological signature. Enormous. Unstable." Alara reached for her weapon. "What's under us?" Jace turned to her, face hardening. "Not what, who." He looked toward the horizon where jagged mountains met the sky. "When I activated the wormhole, something went wrong. It didn't just destroy the enemy fleet. It broke the wall between time and something else. A vault opened beneath this planet. I fell into it. I should have died." He paused. "But something found me first." Ilara's voice shook. "Something. It showed me things," Jace said. "Worlds we haven't seen. Futures we don't survive. Earth burning. Humanity falling. But there's still a chance. That's why it brought me back." She stared at him. "What brought you back?" Jace didn't answer. He turned, walking toward a nearby ridge. "Come with me," he said. "I'll show you." Alara hesitated, then followed. Vox hovered close behind, scanning the air constantly. The wind had shifted, warmer now, metallic, like blood. They reached the edge of a canyon, deep and jagged like it had been torn by something unnatural. Below, glowing symbols pulsed from beneath the rocks. A massive doorway stood embedded in the stone wall, not made by hands, but by something far more advanced. The door wasn't open, but it was breathing. The stone seemed to expand and contract. Slowly, as if inhaling, Ilara stared in disbelief. That's not tech, that's living, Jace finished. It's part of the vault. It connects this planet to others like it. Hidden stations, burial grounds, machines, and mines. I've seen it all. He looked at her with a strange calmness. They're not gods, Ilara, they're builders, and they left their work unfinished. A loud rumble echoed from deep within the canyon. Vox screeched. Caution! Deep space signal detected, encrypted in old Earth code. Origin, unknown. Content. He's awake. Ilara's eyes widened. Who sent that? Jay stared into the canyon. Someone watching. Someone waiting for this moment. She turned to him, fear in her chest now. Jace, are you still human? He didn't flinch. I don't know. For a long moment, no one spoke. The wind died. Even Vox went silent. Then, Jace stepped toward the canyon edge. I can feel them stirring now, he said. They've seen Earth. They know what we are. And they're curious. Ilara's voice cracked. About what? Jace's eyes narrowed. About what happens when a species refuses to kneel. Suddenly, the canyon split with a deep cracking sound. A massive shape moved under the stone, a glowing spine of alien armor, as big as a starship, uncoiling from sleep. Vox flared red again. Emergency. Titanic entity emerging. No match in database. Possible threat. Extinction level. Ilara turned to Jace. We need to warn Earth. Now. Jace looked down at his shaking hands. I don't think we'll get the chance. The planet remembers. The sound rising from the canyon was not just noise, it was memory. A hum that vibrated through Ilara's bones, deeper than sound, older than thought. She stood at the edge, frozen. Below her, something enormous was moving, under the earth glowing faintly through the cracks. The living door in the canyon wall pulsed brighter now, like a heartbeat. Jace, she whispered. What is that? He didn't answer right away. His eyes were closed. He was breathing, slowly, not in fear, but as if he was listening. It's waking up, he said at last. It's remembering. Remembering what? Ilara asked, stepping back. What does that even mean? He opened his eyes, and for a moment, they weren't entirely human. A shimmer of light passed through his pupils, silver, cold, and ancient. This place is not just a machine, he said quietly. It's a library, a living one, built by something long gone. It stores not data, but people. Ilara's heart jumped. What do you mean, people? Souls, minds, warriors, engineers, prisoners, beings from hundreds of civilizations, he said. Their thoughts were encoded and buried in the living stone. The architects believed death was a waste, so they found a way to keep their dead talking. He looked at her, voice colder now. I think that's what they did to me. She stepped back, horrified. Are you saying you're not you? No, he said. I'm still Jace. But there's something else inside me now. Something ancient. It helped me survive. And it brought me back because it wants to live again. Suddenly, Vox beeped. Sharply. Incoming transmission, Origin Vault Core, format, pre-language neural wave, attempting translation. The drone paused. Then in a low tone, it spoke words that no Earth language had ever recorded. We remember the stars. We remember the fall. Now, we remember you. The canyon lit up. Lines of glowing symbols raced outward from the door, spreading like veins into the stone. Each line pulsed in time with a rhythm, a song of the dead calling to something far beyond the planet. Ilara gasped. They're trying to connect to something, to somewhere. Jace nodded. To the others. This isn't the only vault. There are more, scattered across the stars. And Earth just got their attention. Suddenly, a column of light erupted from the canyon, shooting into the sky. It tore through the clouds, vanishing into space like a beacon. Vox flared red. Emergency update. Signal detected by 3 nearby star systems. Encryption matched with old Zephyrin code. Analysis. The vault has called for help. Ilara stepped away from the edge, her voice tight with panic. We have to shut this down, now. Jace turned to her, his face dark. We can't. Not anymore. The vault has chosen me as its key. That's why I lived. That's why I came back. And now that it's open, it won't let either of us go. Ilara raised her weapon. Then we force it. The ground shook violently. Cracks formed under their feet. From the canyon, a shape began to rise. Not fully alive. Not fully machine. A guardian. 10 meters tall, built of shifting stone and light. Its face a blank, ancient mask. It took one step forward and the entire ridge shook. Vox screamed, "Defensive unit activated. Origin, unknown. Purpose, protect the memory. Threat level, maximum." Ilara fired. The energy blast hit the Guardian's chest, but it absorbed it like smoke. The air sizzled around it. Jace stepped between her and the Guardian. "No," he shouted. "It's not here to kill us. It wants to talk." The Guardian's chest opened like a flower, and a holographic projection bloomed in the air. Not an image, a memory, a battle. 1,000 years old. Armies of light fighting dark creatures that looked like shadows with teeth. A single figure, a human-looking soldier, stood in the center, holding a weapon made of stars. He was screaming something. Then the vision ended. Ilara staggered back. That man, he looked human. Jace nodded slowly. That's the worst part. This vault has seen humans before. But how? She asked. We weren't here. Jace looked at her, voice like ice. We were, a long time ago. The vault remembers. Back on Earth. A satellite. Operator stared at his screen in disbelief. Sir, he said to his commander, we just picked up a pulse. Deep space, it's ancient. But the code matches a missing Earth prototype from 100 years ago. What prototype? The commander asked. The operator hesitated. Project Helix, Phase 0. The commander's face turned pale. Back on the planet, Ilara stood at the edge of a truth too big to carry. Her mission had started as a personal vow, a grave, a promise, but now it was something else. The planet had remembered her, not just Jace, her name, her DNA, her past. The vault didn't just wake up because of Jace. It woke up because she came back. Jace turned to her. Ilara, this planet isn't just watching us, it's waiting for us to finish what we started, before we were ever born. Whispers of war far above the planet. In the black silence of space, an old satellite blinked to life. It had been dead for decades, forgotten by Earth's command, a relic from the first Helix program. But now, it sang. A single pulse, ancient, and encrypted crossed light years in seconds. On Earth, alarms screamed across orbital defense stations. In deep command bunkers, generals and scientists stared at screens flashing with impossible data. The vault had spoken, and someone was already listening. On the planet. The Guardian watched them without moving. Its hollow face glowed with symbols neither Ilara nor Vox could translate. It hadn't attacked again, but it hadn't left either. It was waiting. Jace stood near, silent like he belonged there, like the stone trusted him. Ilara paced nearby, speaking softly to Vox. Is it protecting us or watching us? Vox responded quietly. Unclear. Data suggests the Guardian is bound to Jace's presence. Without him, the vault may go dormant or hostile. Ilara looked at Jace, his eyes still flickering with light. Sometimes his voice calmer than it should be. Whatever the vault had done to him, it wasn't just memory. It had changed who he was. And yet, he was still Jace, at least for now. He turned toward her. We're not the first to find this place, he said, but we may be the last to leave it alive. Before she could reply, Vox beeped again. Inbound signal, high orbit shuttle, entering atmosphere. Code, Earth Fleet Alpha Black. Ilara froze. That's impossible. No one knew we were here. Jace's voice dropped. Someone did. They've been watching since we opened the vault. In orbit, the Earth fleet ship, EF's Judgment, entered the planet's sky like a falling blade, black, silent, and invisible to standard sensors. Inside, General Hal Bren watched the planet through reinforced glass. He remembered Jace Riven, dead hero, loyal soldier. But if the reports were true, the dead had disobeyed. Activate Echo. Team, he ordered. Bring them back, both of them. If they resist, end it. A young officer hesitated. Sir, what if Commander Riven is compromised? General Bren didn't blink. Then we erase the mistake. Groundside. Alara saw the dropship descending. No lights, no beacons. It was military. Stealth class. She raised her weapon. They're not here for backup. They're here to... clean up. Jace nodded. Because I'm not supposed to exist. The ground rumbled again. The vault was stirring, responding to the threat. Vox floated closer. Defensive systems rising. Internal vault doors unlocking. Recommendation, retreat. Too late, Jace said. They've already found us. From the ship, dark armored soldiers began to drop. No insignias, no faces. Silent killers. Echo team. They moved fast, surrounding the canyon in under a minute. Their weapons were designed for war, but not just any war. Alien contact scenarios. They weren't just here to stop Jace. They were prepared to destroy the vault. The confrontation, stand down, one soldier shouted through a speaker. Dr. Alara Voss, you are to surrender and power down all drone activity. Alara stayed still, weapon raised. I'm here on a sanctioned science mission. You have no authority? We have every authority, the voice cut in. We have orders to secure the vault and terminate all anomalies. Alara's blood went cold. She looked at Jace. You're the anomaly, she whispered. He stepped forward slowly, hands raised. Then let me talk. I have information that can save Earth. The vault is not a threat, it's a warning. A shot rang out. Jace fell to his knees. Not dead. Armor had taken the hit, but it was a message. No more warnings, the soldier said. You're not Jace Riven, you're a liability. Suddenly the Guardian moved. For the first time it spoke. Not in words, but through Vox. This world is under memory lock. Invaders will be purged. The sky changed color. The wind turned sharp. Alara screamed, "Run!" But it was too late. The canyon erupted with light. The vault opened. Not like a door, but like a mind splitting open. Shapes made of data and energy exploded outward, striking Echo Team soldiers with pulses of living memory. One man dropped his weapon and fell to his knees, crying like a child. Another turned his gun on his own team, whispering something about voices from the stars, chaos. Inside the storm, Jace stood untouched. The vault recognized him. Alara ran to him, grabbing his arm. We have to stop this. They'll send more. Earth will come for us both. Jace looked at her, eyes glowing now, face calm. Then we need to show them the truth. He reached toward the Guardian. It opened again, a new memory playing now. This, one showed Earth, not as it was, but as it would become. Burning skies, falling cities, ships fleeing into space, and a voice in the background, whispering one line. You forgot the first war, but it did not forget you. Truth underneath smoke curled through the canyon as silence settled once more. The elite Echo Team lay scattered, not dead, but broken. Some screamed, others wept, reliving memories that weren't theirs. Their minds had been touched by the vault. It hadn't just fought back, it had overwritten them. Alara watched them from behind the rocks, heart pounding. The light from the vault still flickered against the stone. The Guardian stood guard, unmoved. She turned to Jace, still calm, still glowing faintly, as if his veins carried code instead of blood. What did it do to them? She whispered. Jace's voice was distant. It showed them the truth and they weren't ready for it. Alara glanced at Vox. The drone hovered low, buzzing erratically, trying to process what had just happened. Psychic event detected, Vox said. Origin, Vault Core. Multiple consciousnesses released. Warning, contamination possible. Contamination? Ilara asked. You mean they were infected? Not with a disease, with memories. Ilara backed away, realizing the vault wasn't just a place. It was a weapon made of history. Jace stepped forward, his voice steady. It's opening wider now. It wants us to go deeper. Ilara grabbed his arm. You're talking like it's alive. It is, he said, staring into the darkness. And it remembers us. Not just me, you too. Your DNA matches something in its core. Something buried long before Earth even built cities. Ilara's breath caught. What are you saying? I'm saying Earth might not be our first home. The descent. They entered the vault through a split in the canyon wall, guided by light, not doors, symbols lit under their feet, pulsing with each step, sinking to Jace's heartbeat. The deeper they went, the more reality seemed to twist. Gravity bent, time slowed. Their footsteps echoed seconds before they stepped. The air buzzed with memories, projected. Visions began to appear, not holograms but living memories looping through the stone. An alien city under siege, a humanoid child watching a fleet leave orbit, a voice crying out in an ancient, broken version of Earth's language. We were not the first, and we were not the last. The truth, at the vault's heart lay the memory engine, a massive sphere suspended in midair, wrapped in liquid light and whispering voices. Around it, walls of shifting data formed a kind of cathedral, built not from faith, but from evidence. Jace stepped close. The sphere reacted to him, lines of light connected to his body. Suddenly the entire room flashed, and everything changed. They stood not in the vault anymore, but inside a recorded world. The stars were different. The sky was gold. Strange trees floated instead of growing. In this place humans walked side by side with alien beings, tall, elegant, glowing from within. They're like us, Ilara whispered. No, Jace said. We're like them. The vision shifted. War, fire in the sky, betrayal. The human-like beings were now fighting the others. One figure, a commander, led them. A man with Ilara's eyes. The vault spoke again, through Vox. You are echoes, survivors of the first rebellion. Your species was not born on Earth, it was sent there. Ilara stumbled back. No, that's not possible. But the visions continued. A great exodus, ships carrying fragments of humanity across the stars. Earth wasn't their cradle, it was their prison. Earth's lie back in the present. Ilara fell to her knees. They've kept this from us. All of it. Jace nodded slowly. The Helix Project wasn't designed to save humanity from aliens. It was designed to contain what we used to be. That's why the first Helix test, Project Zero, disappeared. It opened a vault and Earth buried it. Jace looked at her. They knew that if we remembered who we really are, we wouldn't stop, Ilara whispered. We'd fight. The betrayal. Suddenly, a sharp sound echoed through the chamber. A voice. Exactly. They turned. General Bren stood at the entrance of the vaults, Hart flanked by a new squad of black-armored operatives. He held a plasma rifle, not pointed at Jace, but at Ilara. You were never supposed to see this, he said coldly. We knew the vault might react to Riven. We didn't expect it to recognize you. Jace stepped forward. You lied to the whole planet. You locked away our past. Bren raised his rifle. You think Earth is ready for the truth? Billions of people learning their ancestors ruled the stars, then burned it all down? We barely survived the Zephyrins. We give the public this? Chaos, collapse, war. And what's your plan? Ilara asked. Destroy the vault? No, he said. Bury it again, and make sure you two go with it. He snapped his fingers. Charges lit up along the walls. Plasma bombs, pre-installed during the first landing. Final moment, Jace grabbed Alara and ran. The chamber exploded behind them. Vox screamed, stone fell, light cracked. The Guardian tried to protect them but was torn apart by the blast. They ran deeper. The only way now was down, into the oldest layer of the vault, a place even the architects had sealed away. As they vanished into the dark, the vault whispered again, "Truth cannot be buried. It always finds its way back." The betrayal. The deeper they ran, the less the world made sense. The stone walls were no longer smooth or ancient. They pulsed, shimmered, changed shape as if rewriting themselves in real time. It felt like running through a dying mind, a mind trying to remember what it once was before the bombs erased it all. Behind them, the vault above collapsed. Explosions shook the earth. Light and fire reached down like fingers. But Jace and Alara kept moving, led by flickers of memory woven into the walls, visions only Jace could see now. He gripped Alara's hand tightly, guiding her through collapsing corridors, past crumbling memories of a civilization long buried. His face was pale. The glowing lines in his skin pulsed faster now. The vault was burning through him. They finally reached a chamber deep beneath the surface, untouched by the blast. Silent. Cold. It was the core. Before the core. The place even, the architects feared, the sealed room. The room was smaller than the others. No massive machines, no floating data, just a circular space with 6 dark thrones arranged in a circle, each holding a single skull, fused into metal and stone. Not alien, not robotic. Human. Alara froze. "This isn't a command center, it's a tribunal." Jace stared at the skulls. Judges, leaders, the ones who made the final decision to send humanity into exile. Above them, an inscription glowed in the ancient hybrid language. "We do not punish the children. We bury the parents with their sins." Jace touched one of the skulls. A violent surge of light filled the room. Both of them collapsed. And then, the vault showed them. The real betrayal, it was Earth, but not as they remembered it. The skies were thick with ships. The surface was clean, shining, almost too perfect. Humanity had ruled 100 systems. They hadn't been the underdog. They had been the tyrants. The war with the Zephyrins hadn't been an invasion. It had been a rebellion. The Zephyrins were not conquerors. They were slaves who rose up. And humanity? It burned worlds to keep control. "We weren't victims," Alara whispered, watching in horror. "We were the monsters." She saw the same face again. The man who looked like her, leading the fleet that wiped out a colony of children who dared to speak freedom. "They exiled us," Jace said, voice hollow. "Our ancestors. The architects were part of us. They ended the war by locking away the worst of us. And Earth was the cage," Alara breathed. "We were the second chance, the rewrite." But someone had opened the lock again. Above. "General." Bren watched the vault burn from his command shuttle. "Detonation confirmed," his officer said. "No signal from Riven or Voss." Bren nodded. "Good." But in his hand, he held something strange. A shard of memory stone stolen from the vault before the collapse. It whispered to him at night, promised him power, authority, immortality. He didn't destroy the vault to protect humanity. He destroyed it to own its secrets. Below. Alara woke slowly. She was still in the tribunal chamber. But Jace was gone. "Jace?" she called. Silence. Then a faint whisper echoed from the far wall. Not through speakers. Through the stone itself. "He is becoming." A hidden door slid, open. Inside, she saw Jace. He stood still, facing a mirror of light. Inside it, dozens of versions of him flickered. Past lives, alternate paths, possibilities. His voice was cold, distant. They offered me a choice. What kind of choice? To stay human, or to become what I once was. His hand glowed. His veins now shone like liquid metal. His skin was losing color. His heartbeat was gone. I can lead them, Ilara. The other vaults. I can unite what's left of our kind across the stars. No, she whispered. This isn't leading. It's repeating. He turned slowly. For a moment his eyes were completely white. No iris, no pupil. Pure memory. I remember what we were, he said, and I understand now why they were afraid of us. Ilara took a step back. Jace, this isn't you. This is what the vault wants you to be. But what if it's what I've always been? The twist suddenly, Vox came back online, system scrambled but active, alert. Long-range signal detected, other vaults responding. Planetary alignments match celestial map from the old empire. Projected timeline. Reactivation in 14 hours. The vaults were waking up, not just here, everywhere. Jace looked at Ilara, softening for a moment. You can still stop me, he said. You always could. Ilara raised her weapon, but her hand shook. Then, she lowered it. We stop this together, she said, but we do it as who we are now, not who we were. He stared at her. Then, a single tear fell down his cheek. Not light. Not memory. A real tear. He was still in there. They might still win. A promise fulfilled. The sky above Earth was no longer still. It shimmered with incoming signals. Silent, cold messages broadcast from deep space, echoing the vault's awakening. Across the solar system, satellites began failing. AI cores froze. Old black sites blinked to life, long decommissioned, and long buried. From Mars to the moons of Saturn, the past had come knocking, and Earth had no idea what was about to arrive. Planet. Side. Within the core of the vault, Ilara and Jace stood in the lowest chamber of the vault. Its true heart, a sphere suspended in anti-gravity, wrapped in layered rings of alien alloy and pulsing memory light. The vault had stopped attacking. It was listening. Jace's body was no longer fully human. The changes had completed, subtle but undeniable. His skin shimmered with strands of light beneath the surface. His heartbeat was replaced by a slow, rhythmic pulse, matching the frequency of the other vaults now waking across the galaxy. But his eyes, they were still his, and they were on Ilara. You could destroy me now, he said. Before they connect, before I trigger the network, one shot. Ilara stood frozen, her weapon lowered. I didn't come to kill you, she said softly. I came to bring you back. The countdown begins. Vox, now rebuilt and fused with vault memory, projected a digital map into the air. It showed 12 other vaults spread across the stars, all of them blinking one after the other, sequence progressing, 10 vaults synchronized, core command authority defaulting to memory kept. Jace. The system was giving him control of the ancient network, control over the last weapon humanity had ever built. Not a bomb, not a fleet, but truth, a truth that could wake the sleeping powers of the past, rebuild the empire, and rewrite the future in the image of what humanity once was. But only he could activate it. Back on Earth, DEFCON. Zero General Bren stormed into the Earth. Command Council, data crystal in hand. The vaults are real. The AI was right, and now we're out of time. The president stared at the holograms in disbelief. You said they were dead tech, buried by the first Helix project. I lied. Bren growled. We buried them because we were afraid, and now we have no idea whether Riven will save us or enslave us again. What do you propose? The president asked. Bren inserted the crystal into the table. Project Purifier. It was our last resort, a failsafe, if the vaults ever woke up. The table lit up with red light, a system-wide EMP pulse, enough to wipe the vaults permanently. But it would also hit every colony, the president said. Every fleet, every station. Bren stared forward. If that's the cost of stopping the return of the old empire, we pay it. The final choice. In the vault, Alara looked at Jace. The vaults are nearly synced. Once you connect them, it can't be undone. He nodded. I know. I'll see everything, every hidden truth, every war, every crime we tried to forget. And Earth will see you as a god, she added, or a threat. Jace stepped toward the final control, a floating ring of light spinning slowly in front of him. I didn't survive all this to rule, he said. I survived to finish the promise. Alara blinked. What promise? He smiled faintly. To be better than we were. He reached out, but just before he touched the final ring, a voice. Unexpected old. You are not the first to stand here. The vault itself spoke, not through Vox, but through the air, the stone, the light. Those before you chose power. You must choose memory. Will you show them the truth, even if it destroys you? Alara stepped forward. Yes, she said. If we hide it again, we'll repeat it. Let the people choose what comes next. Jace turned to her. Side by side? Like always, she said. We keep the promise. Activation, Jace touched the ring. Light exploded outward, not as a weapon, but as a message. Across the stars, the other vaults opened. Their memories streamed into space, encoded and aimed at Earth. Billions of people looked up as skies turned strange, satellites blinked, and visions appeared in their dreams. Not propaganda, not control, just truth. The first empire, the fall, the war, the exile, the second chance. Earth's final response, in Earth Command, systems overloaded. General Bren's hand hovered over the trigger for the Purifier EMP. The red light blinked. Final warning. But before he could activate it, a voice came through, old, shaking. It was his own daughter speaking from a moon colony. I saw them, Dad. I saw what we were, and what we could be. He looked at the button. Then, he pulled, his hand back, let them decide. 2 years later, the world didn't burn. It changed. Some feared the vaults, others studied them. Governments collapsed, new ones formed. Old divisions broke. New ideas rose, the stars were open again, and people remembered. Alara now led a new organization, the Memory Accord, designed to protect and share ancient knowledge. Not to rule, just to watch. And Jace? He was no longer on Earth, but across. The stars in deep space, a signal blinked from one vault to another, a voice echoing through time. We kept the promise.